Ladies, I don't understand. How does this work? If your spiritual inheritance comes to the Emperor and the Empress, and we already clarified that last night, that's a paranormal INFJ Pisces, that's a balanced masculine and feminine, with the mystical sister from Gemini Moon Tarot. And I mean, as soon as she told me that, I just activated it. It wasn't hard. It was combining the conscious with the unconscious, tapped into the superconscious with the Eye of Ra. So, I mean, I went through all the steps. And now I can see through the facade. And I mean, you've got Glasgow, Scotland throwing bodies in my basement and my gutter. Sweetheart, I don't, enlightened High Priestess 1111, I don't have a basement. I don't have a basement. You can't fit bodies in a basement I don't have. I don't understand. How does this karma thing work? What you put out comes back to you, right? Well, I've put out 5-star reviews in Jesus. I mean, I put out 888 frequency of love's intent to help her heal, so with 5-star reviews. I tapped into the source through QHHT and Joga Koskas. And I mean, Joe seems to be spooked about Halloween, and I mean, he's just a Leo, and Leo is all avoiding the drama in the cards because they're just not a supernatural Pisces, and I don't understand. Y'all are talking about my ancestors wreaking havoc on people. Well, that's sun ancestors. And I mean, you're telling me to sit back and not do anything that, God has stepped in, and that would be Ra. That would be the sun god. So, if I have taken my Pisces sun power back, and I've taken my Leo rising Phoenix coming up out of the ashes power back, and I've arced the temporal and the super temporal to the super consciousness with the Gemini moon power back, I'm obviously sitting on a throne, and what you put out bounces off me and goes right back to him. You girls are talking about unalive black magic. You're talking about hitman energy. Yeah, I don't wish that upon no one, but if it hits me and goes back on them, and the ancestors are giving a beam, I mean, my QHHT session involved the jinn. So, I mean, that's ghosts. That is the astral realm. And y'all are talking about pay attention to your dreams. Well, I mean, Vishen Lakani taught me at Mind Valley about the Rainbow Tribe. And there's obviously some very ancestral, we're breaking ancestral curses now. See, I know my grandfather, and I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. My grandfather was raised in a Shriners hospital, last name White Cotton, about as native as you can get. I don't think he really knew who his parents were. I mean, they were older. That wasn't something that we talked about. However, at 18 years old, being raised in a Shriners hospital, he was, booted out. He was 18. He went straight down to the Williamsburg docks in colonial Williamsburg, Virginia. Had some necromancy things going. I mean, there was definitely something, but something kept him moving with degenerative bone disease. 2 hip replacements. I mean, they put a spike in one of his hips, and he, on a cane, fell in the driveway and broke the spike inside his hip. Chiseled that out. He was hanging in his den, and one of you girls, I guess it was maybe straight from the divine, I'm not sure. Anyway, you showed me a picture of a guy sitting on it looked just like his study. Shows him working on things, and he did. He worked well with wood. He had a wood shop. He used to make bird houses and things, little outhouses, just carpenter type stuff. And I know he got caught there towards the end, got caught in the table saw and took almost his whole hand off. Just the fingers. Just most of the fingers. I think by the end of it, he was in mid-80s, I guess. 2 hip replacements, 2 shoulder replacements, a cage in his spine. And, me, little clairsentient Scott, I can feel your pain. However he did, he made lots of enemies because you got a lot of ancestral curse, mob energy, organized crime, things of that nature. I'm assuming that working on those docks, anytime a cargo ship came in, him as the crane operator, he would have been the last one in possession of anything illegal, whatnot. So, you talk about the family curses put on the family, things of that nature. It always seemed odd to me that my mother was tied to Miss Pac-Man because of Clyde the ghost. She kind of ghosted him at 17. But, we called her the Fae. We always felt like we were in the Fae trap. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. You've got all of this, creepy family energy about, the Scorpio death being, a hitman. He was a 2-time Vietnam War vet. He flew in a plane called Patches, a C-123 provider. He provided Agent Orange to Vietnam, unalived hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people. Little empath me, you don't talk much about the war until conversation time starts with Scotty. Here's Scotty. I don't like to hear that shit, but they had no one else to talk to. However, I noticed there towards the end, very peculiar synchronicities would happen to my dad. This green chair for the BBG, the big green chair, BGB, the KGB, the BGB, the BGC, it's the BGC, the big green chair. You got for my mother on Mother's Day. And I can't remember exactly how the thing went. Can't remember exactly. Oh, let me back up. I had diabetes. And diabetes made his feet numb. Out here on the patio walking around, burned the bottoms of his feet completely off. Goes to the VA. They put this black stuff like dog pad, like this tar stuff on his feet so the skin could grow back. And, born on Halloween, so that was always kind of creepy. Kind of every Halloween. He never wanted to go out and trick-or-treat. He always stayed home by himself, kind of like some weird Teen Wolf shit. Anyway. He did. He reminded me of the dad from Teen Wolf. Anyway. The reason he went into Vietnam was to get out of the bootlegging situation in Natural Dam. He didn't jive with that. Dad was kind of straight edge. So confirmation. What time do we have? So breaking Jinn curses was my next step, 128.65. Because you just want to break the ancestral curse on the natives for alcohol. And I don't know what that backlash is on Halloween when everyone's distilling their spirits. So you've got these elite groups or whatnot that are, it happens for you, Pisces, not to you. Okay, great. Well, now that we have gotten all the karmic contracts down, y'all are talking about the divine protection on the Pisces? Well, yeah. Every time you break one of those generational curses, it goes back to where it came from. Doesn't it? Right? So if you've had a divine path, a divine being on a divine path, and I live right off of Divine Street, you can't find me. My address is all over Google. I keep hearing that in your ladies' cards. I live on half Redneck Street between Divine and Dawn. Scotty between Divine and Dawn. And you're right. It's okay. We can get the negative residue out of your chakras. It's not that hard. Sorry about that. Messages coming in. So, we definitely want to keep our chakras clear because we don't want whatever this negative energy backlash is. Because, biblical times talked about Jesus raising the dead. And, I just don't believe everything that I read. However, this whole concept of being connected to Christ consciousness, that would be the Leo heart. That would be the Leo rising Christ heart consciousness chakra. It's just what it is. When you achieve heart coherence with the Emperor, Empress energy, or where the temporal meets the supertemporal, connected to the reptilian brain coming out of the reptilian lens or the eye of Ra, being able to channel energy across the vagus nerve, it just brings in all kinds of information. So wanting to know how Pisces knows, well, it's cosmic intelligence called Reiki. Universal life force energy holds universal life force intelligence. And I don't understand what all of this divine feminine energy. If you've got copycats to that energy signature and they couldn't copy that, what were they doing with it that's going to go back on them? What kind of backlash is that? When I cut that cord and start calling that energy back, what's going to happen to them? Because you girls are telling me not to worry about what's going to happen to them, but I have a pretty good idea with universal life force energy. It is my sunlight, isn't it? My soul's sunlight. And I would say that if, there were people that sat around and watched me going through a death and a rebirth and were laughing at the pain, well, what's going to happen to them when I cut that cord and call that energy back? It's what goes around comes around, isn't it? Isn't that what y'all are telling me? I keep hearing you girls say that large groups of people are going to be in an incredible amount of regret for messing with the Pisces sun. What does that mean? What does that mean? Public officials, bank failures? I've been talking about that for months. What do those things mean? What do those things mean? And if the teacher takes on the karma of the student, and I have came into some classes and was able to break those karmic contracts due to ignorance or a lack of proper knowledge, when I cut that cord and call that energy back, what happens to those teachers? What kind of karma do they get from that student? What do these things mean? Because I let go and gave it to God with consent by divine decree, and I thought that was pretty much the best I could do. It told me the portal was Halloween. That's Dad's birthday. I don't want any part of that. And I'm sorry, ladies, but telling me not to feel sorry for them, well, no, I can't save them, but I certainly want to feel sorry about it. Can't do anything. I'm not going to allow myself to get into any more karmic connections with. I'm not losing my divine protection. With everything going back on everyone else in this portal, have you lost your mind? It's just what it is. And I understand what you girls are saying about God gives you the chance to repent. Well, hell, I begged for my life 10/16/17 at 3:33 a.m. as I was passing away the second time. Second time. Third time was the charm. Whatever you put out comes back to you. If you girls are telling me that was all witchcraft that caused those magnetic events to just happen to the conformity of some magician's will, what's going to happen to those magicians? That can't be good. You got elites sitting back watching this because it's just a show. Okay, great. What's happening to them? Taking my power back. So what's going to happen to them? God's stepping in is what you're saying, right? The divine is stepping in and dealing out divine justice? Okay. I mean, I've asked for forgiveness. I hope there's no one here watching that I need to. Do I need to forgive anyone? Let me know in the comments. And you talk about YouTube censoring me and not wanting the truth to get out. Well, now how does the divine censor YouTube and Facebook? They were trying to hide me. Well, how does the divine hide them? I don't wish bad upon anyone. I gave it to God to let the divine do what the divine does. I don't know. I'm just going to have to keep listening to you ladies because every time I try to give my truth, they can't handle it. They immediately turn professional narcissists. I'm the enemy to their ignorance. I mean, that's always really boggled my mind about how I can be mentally off or any of that shit when every word I use has a specific definition from the experience it defines. I've heard 3 times today from you girls that Halloween is the cutoff date. That's Dad's birthday. The boogeyman. You've ended every reading majority of the time for Pisces with dragons clearing the path. Well, how does that happen with karma? Large groups of people attempting to block God's plan. Great. How does God block them? Of course I'm taking control, but I don't like you either. Monitoring me? Okay, great. Do I get to monitor you? That to me looks like a setup of trying to place the blame on me, but that's going back on you. That would be the teacher taking the karma of the student. Me taking my power back is love, light, health, wealth, and abundance. Done. And that tells me any projections taking control of what? Yourself? Did that just make me your puppet master? Got every tarot reader on the planet talking about a copycat Pisces. I'm sure you're not INFJ. You may be walking between the worlds, but not with both sides of your brain. You're part of the group that couldn't duplicate my energy. Every tarot reader on the planet's talking about you have a rude awakening. Sorry? I've defended, protected, and served my duty in just about everything I've ever done to get met with what? Kindness for weakness? Okay. Now it's paranormal INFJ strength, giving it to the paranormal, letting the ancestors handle it after I broke their curses. When I take the ancestral curse off of them and let it go out into the ethers, who does that go back on? There's a Pisces that the ancestors are incredibly proud of. Okay, how do they defend that person? It's the law of cause and effect, correct? So that's telling me this, and I mean, Halloween to me ended. You girls are telling me about car accidents. You're telling me about car problems. Great, I know a cool mechanic. Probably give you a discount. Thank you for that confirmation. That's what it is. Got some very strange cats doing very strange things around my house. What does that mean? Birds and bugs and all kinds of fun stuff. Things I've never seen before, and I've been here 40 years. None of them carry a bad message. Actually, some pretty good messages. Large groups failing to sacrifice a human, what happens to them? That's utter failure. How does the divine take control of that? Having monitor spirits on me, well, they're telling you that those are my ancestors looking out for me. Great. What are they going to do when they return to sender? AC just went off. One of the most luxurious sins. That's my favorite scene of Dogma, when Azel comes in the house and goes up to the air conditioning. Got every tarot reader on the planet talking about attacking an earth angel and a ton of copycats. Okay, great. What happens to them? Do they get Xeroxed? When I cut the copycat cord and call that energy back, what happens to them? It's my energy, right? I am the energy master, right? And no one's ever truly a master, just mastering energy for a lifelong process. Gotta practice, don't I? Oh no, you ladies tell me. You're doing a pretty good job, because I've just repeated everything that you've said, and I agree up to one point. As far as I can tell with the Ascension, there's only one INFJ Earth Angel. One. With a connection to Yeshua. Well, that's the return to Christ consciousness. Got all these other people. Why aren't they silencing them? That would be all of the other people on YouTube that you watch that have all of these viewers, but yet they're silencing one speaking the truth. What does that tell you? What truth do they not want to get out? Thank you for that. I don't abuse my abilities. Having divine protection, but my dark side is get the popcorn. I want to see what happens to them. I like scary movies too. That's what it is. I know love, light, and truth set you free. So I think I'm just going to take a nap. I think I'll just take a nap the rest of the day and let's see what happens. You girls are doing an amazing job. Doing absolutely an amazing job as far as being the angel of death to magic and transformation. What does that mean? Cast black magic on me? Death spells, whatever? Okay, well, that's death. To an earth angel, okay, that's the earth angel of death. And transformation, poof, we're a unicorn. A balanced masculine and feminine tapped right into the super consciousness with a silver mind control screen that makes things appear. And they want to try to alter my emotional state? Want to try to put pictures in front of me to manifest? Cool. I'm returning that to sender. It's not my reality. Pisces Kingdom told you, I don't live in your reality anymore. Well, that's in heaven with Jesus. Cool. Where does that put you? With 5 Capricorn devils in a Fae trap, because that's what it is. Any of that thieving of the inheritance, well, okay, that was the Fae. Cool, so we'll just transmute that over into the Fae trap. Let the Fae handle it. Let the divines with the spiritual authority that we have. Release it to the source consciousness and let the angels take over. 2700 on the clock. That's what it is. You guys tell me fear doesn't exist. Karma does. I can't do anything about that. Breaking the ancestral curse on alcohol allergy for the natives, that's the gin on gin. That's drinking distilled spirits and getting a little bit spiritual, just enough for lightning bolt fast spirits to attack. Ask Heather McDonald. I think, I don't know, they did it, not me. I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not going to tempt my allergy and have been relieved of that demon. And now you've got it all in the cards. Those that wanted me back into my addictions are eat up with them, losing their minds. It can't get enough, drinking up all their cash. I wasn't ever even really a big drinker. I was just a hell of a mixologist. I can follow a recipe. It's what it is. Happy Halloween. It's what it is. I'm glad all I know is Reiki and love's intent to help her heal with the ancestors protecting me has now caused all this stir. Truths are coming out? I bet they are. Girls are looking for clarity in the cards? Okay, great. I'm going to go and see what your clarity is in the cards. Namaste.